Hi everyone, welcome back to the next diecast. In today's video, I'll be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale 1957 Ford Ranchero made by Yatming Road Signatures. This is actually one of my dad's models. He got this, I think, back in 2002 or 2003. I believe Yatming is still making this model as far as I know, though they might not be. Although it is pretty common to find on eBay. Prices for this usually vary between, maybe as little as $10 for a loose version and, maybe played with condition, and upwards of maybe $40 for a mint in box version. And these came in a variety of colors. This is actually one of my favorites here, the two-tone white and red with the black and white interior. It also came in kind of an unusual looking black and pink. There was a black and yellow version. I think there was a white and light blue version. But there was a wide variety of colors you could actually get this truck in. Very, 50s-like colors, because this was, of course, from the 1950s. And Road Signatures also made a sedan delivery version of this truck. So basically, it was the same truck, but this back part was covered, had kind of like a black sort of vinyl portion over this area here. And oddly enough, on the base of this model, it even says a courier sedan delivery, even though this, of course, is just the regular Ranchero pickup. So I guess they didn't want to make a separate base just for that one. But the sedan delivery came in dark green with the black rear portion, and I think a burgundy as well. But if you do a quick search for this on eBay, a lot of results will come up. And of course, the prices will vary based on condition, color, and whatnot for the model. But overall, I think in terms of a detailed model from Yatming, this aligns pretty well, I think, with the other models that they've been making over the years. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the details of the truck. We'll start up here with the front. You see these unusual kind of headlights here. Instead of being kind of placed lower, they're actually up above here. Kind of an interesting trait of the Ranchero. But Yatming, I think, does a good job of replicating these headlights and also these lower lights down here, that they're separately cast on plastic pieces in both cases. You have nice texturing going on with the lenses and everything too. And you have kind of a bulb in the center of each of these lights too, which is cool to see. The whole grill down here is chrome. It looks a little bit cheap, but Yatming frequently does that with their grills. They kind of have an overly, shiny mirror-like finish to them, unfortunately. But at least it is a separately cast plastic piece. And you have that Ford inscription in the center here. I like how the letters are kind of done in like a matte silver finish. That looks very well done. You have a nice chrome front bumper up here. And this hood ornament up here is actually a separately cast chrome plastic piece, which looks very well done. Then you have these mirrors, which are actually mounted to the fenders here. Another cool characteristic of these Rancheros. They're done in separate plastic kind of chrome pieces. Of course, on the real truck, these will be made of metal, but on here they are plastic. They're a slight bit loose, so just be careful of that. But these are easy to, I think, pull out and just add a little drop of glue if you're concerned about them, falling off and everything. The wipers are actually just kind of molded into the windshield and look a little bit cheap, but at least they have that detail on there a slight bit. And you do have a nice kind of chrome trim around the windshield too. Windshield's almost shaped like the Thunderbird's windshield. And these taillights kind of remind me of the Thunderbird too, from the same year, from 1957. Some cool traits going on here. The paint quality, I would say, is very well done. The white and red just looks awesome on the Ranchero in general, and Yatming does a good job of kind of the overall finish of the paint. It's not a gloss. It's not like a metallic finish, but it does have a nice kind of glossy look and feel to it. There's no rough areas or orange peel or anything like that, which is always nice to see. And you do have this kind of chrome, I don't know if it's a pinstripe or, yeah, whatever this is, that goes down the whole length of the truck. I guess it would be a pinstripe, though I'm not too sure. Chrome accent, I guess we'll call it here in this case. But it's actually a separately cast chrome piece. You have one piece here, one on the door, and actually one back here. And I think the chrome quality is overall well done on the model. And of course, you have the separately cast chrome door handles too, and this small kind of vent window up on top there. But the chrome adds a nice kind of, accent to the truck, I think. And Yatming does a good job of kind of adding that on there. Back here, you do have the Ranchero inscription just above of this chrome portion here. And then in the back, they do an awesome job with these taillights, I would say. They have kind of a cool shape to them, and there is no pegs to be seen in either one, which is nice to see. And you have kind of that chrome surround on there, too. The tailgate, unfortunately, does not open. I wish it did. It would have been a cool touch. But you do have that handle on there and this kind of little Ford badge up here, too. That is just a sticker, unfortunately, but at least it's the proper, look to it and everything. Exhaust pipes could be better. They're just kind of these silver grayish, like chrome, like these silver grayish sticks that are just sticking out back here. They don't make any attempt to make them look like they're actual exhaust pipes or anything. But Yatming kind of does that with these models, unfortunately. But I guess that's not a big deal because the other details I think kind of make up for that drawback. And you also have nice detailing with this bed back here too. Kind of a rough plastic finish going on in there. And you have kind of that lined pattern going inside there too. In terms of opening features, you don't get an opening tailgate, unfortunately, as I already mentioned. Oh, you do actually have steering. I forgot to point that out. Good steering too. A little bit squeaky though. The Yatming frequently has these kind of squeaky steering systems. And you don't have suspension. Yatming almost never does suspension on their models. So with the opening features that you do get, you do have the opening hood up here, which opens up like so. Nicely detailed engine, I would say, for sure. You have the main block in there kind of done in that orange pattern. You have this kind of chrome portion up here. You can see the battery and other components are kind of replicated in three-dimensional plastic, which is nice to see. And you even get a fan up there too, kind of done in gray. And you can see that this is a multi-piece engine design. Like this is a separate piece, the orange is a separate piece. You have that kind of wire sticking out up here. You can see the radiator and the fan too are separately cast plastic pieces. Of course, there are, I guess, some missing wiring and everything in here, but Yatming doesn't really do a super thorough job with their engines, but I think they do just enough where you can put the model up on a shelf and have the hood open like this, and it looks great from a far distance. And the chrome quality, I would say, is good in here too. And you can actually see all the way down to the bottom of the truck, which is a cool touch, I would say. And the hood does feel a little bit loose when you open and close it, so just keep that in mind. But it does open up completely straight like this, so you won't have to worry about it just falling closed or anything like that. I think if it were to stop here, you would eventually see, like, you know, a gravity effect happen where it would just fall closed after being open for some time. But I don't think you'll worry about that for this model here. But yeah, aside from like the loose hood, I think the engine detailing is actually very well done. And of course, you do have opening doors on the truck here. They open up at a very kind of wide angle on dogleg hinges, which is another kind of characteristic of these Yatming models. Not too much to see on the door panels, so they are very well detailed, I would say, for what you do get. You have a nice kind of texture going on in the center here, and you have kind of that black accent that goes across the whole center portion too. I believe you get the door handles here. I would think you would get window winders on here somewhere too, but I don't think Yatming put those on. Unless the window winder and the door handle is the same thing, which wouldn't be the case. I'm not sure, but at least you do get that kind of separately cast chrome component there. Whatever it is, I assume it's the door handle. Though, I guess there would be like a window crank somewhere. Whatever, I guess that's not a big deal. But at least the door panels are kind of nice and flush with the doors too. As I said, these do open up on dogleg hinges. They do feel a slight bit loose, but these are held on by screws, so if you ever need to tighten this up, you could just unscrew the base of the truck, and you would just be able to screw these hinge screws back in to make the doors just a little bit tighter. And on the interior, I think Yatming does a decent job with detailing the dashboard and the center stack here. Not really too much to see in general. This whole center portion here and all the buttons are done with kind of a separately cast piece of chrome plastic. I don't think on the real truck this would all be completely chrome. Of course, the background of it would be chrome, but I don't know if the buttons would necessarily be chrome or not. But at least the buttons are molded in kind of the proper shape and have the right placements and everything. I think Yatming always does a good job with that. And you have kind of a nice texture going on with the dashboard too. And you can see for the steering wheel, it is the proper size and shape, maybe a little bit too chunky in some areas. And I'm not too sure if the real truck would have an all black steering wheel like this. For this model and this interior, I think it looks great. But I don't know if all the Rancheros would actually have that component or not, in terms of having like an all black steering wheel. And you do see some buttons on either side of the steering wheel too. Kind of two separate kind of chrome pods on there, I guess you can call them. And then you have the speedometer right behind the steering wheel, done with a sticker. But at least it is in the right font and has the overall right appearance to it. The bench seat, I would say, is pretty well done. You have a nice texture going on with it. You have a kind of a two-tone gray and white look to it. It wouldn't just be a single mold like this. I think on the real bench seat, it would have kind of like an adjustable seat back on it. But Yatming kind of molds it as a single kind of plastic piece. But I think it still looks good nonetheless. And that's really it for the interior. Well, actually, Kind of annoying attribute of these Yatming road signature models is the pedals, they just mold it into the floor. They don't do like what Maisto and Barago do, where they have kind of the pedals mounted separately, like where the steering wheel is. They're just kind of molded into the floor, which don't look that great. I wish they at least made these maybe like chrome or black so they stand out a little bit more, but maybe that's a good thing because then you can see that they're just molded into the floor, I suppose. I wish they were separately cast plastic pieces. Most, model manufacturers make their pedals as separately cast plastic pieces, but Yatming, they usually just kind of mold them into the floor or into the footwell of their 1/18 scale cars and trucks. Kind of weird. I wish they didn't do that, but I guess that's not a big deal because you don't really see it too well unless you look at it like, kind of closely. But that's the interior there. Not really too much to see in that sense. And I think the shut lines could be better too. You have kind of this huge gap on the driver's side door here. Kind of a gap up there with the hood. And even up top here too. Doesn't look that great. If this were a darker colored truck, I think if this were the black and pink version, these gaps would be kind of more hidden because it's a darker paint shade. But on here, you can really see them. And the gaps aren't really even throughout either. But I think in recent years, Yatming has improved with their models in terms of overall quality. This is from like 2002. And they were getting better at that point too, but not totally in the sense of, overall like build quality and whatnot. But that's just a little, maybe that could be a factory defect. I don't know if all the Ranchero models are going to have those gaps or not, but just keep that in mind when you're searching for one for yourself. And the wheels and tires are well done too. I forgot to mention that. They are just kind of one single chrome mold, but at least they do a nice job with those spokes in there and everything. And you have that kind of cool white and red effect with these white wall tires. I love how they kind of match up with the paint on the truck. That's always a very cool touch. Wheels might be a slight bit too small overall, but at least, they look good. A little bit wobbly though, I might add, but that could just be a factory defect. Last but not least, we'll check out the undercarriage. Not a whole lot to see down here. You do have the exhaust system kind of done in a grayish silver plastic, and then you have all the engine components down here. You can actually see the steering system work too, which I think is a cool touch. But I would say a decent undercarriage for a budget model. So if you're a fan of 1950s vehicles, I would say this model would definitely look good in your collection, or if you're a fan of, pickup trucks or just Ford trucks in general. As I said, these models do frequently come up on eBay. And of course, you have the regular truck version and the Courier version, which has like that kind of paneled back portion here. But I think in terms of overall detailing, it's pretty good for the most part, with some quality issues here and there. But Yatming did start making this model in the 1990s, and they were a relatively new company at that point, so I doubt they're going to make too many changes to the model in terms of overall build quality. They have released, of course, different paint colors over the years, so I guess that counts as kind of a change. But yeah, if you can find this model for a good price, I would say definitely get it. And I would definitely go for this paint scheme too. The red and white just looks awesome on the Ranchero in general, I think. As always, feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on the model here, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.